I also want to give a special thank you to everyone who was involved in organizing World Refugee Day today and in the past few years. It's really a tremendous honor to be a city that hosts a celebration like this and that takes the time to recognize and acknowledge our refugee communities. A special thank you to Mashoud and to Ali and the others who have brought us all together today. And I do want to take a moment to recognize resettlement agencies, mutual aid groups, faith communities, individuals who've opened their doors to refugees, especially under these painful and devastating circumstances that we're currently facing, not only in Chicago, but in this country and worldwide. Every day, you help families rebuild their lives, figure out new systems, find hope and belonging, as we've heard our previous speakers say. And people are doing that even while our federal government is cutting back resources and attacking our refugee programs. Today, we still see millions of people around the world who have been forcibly displaced. There are ongoing conflicts and humanitarian crises that continue to force families to seek safety and protection in other countries and in other cities, including Chicago. It is shameful that our own federal U.S. government has chosen to cut funding for refugee resettlement and to close its doors to asylum seekers. And it is important that we, as a community that cares about our rights, is speaking out against that. So thank you to all of you who are doing the advocacy and the work to call out these practices. That's why World Refugee Day is even more important. The theme this year is solidarity with refugees. And solidarity means moving beyond sympathy or beyond social media to action. And you heard some of the recommendations just before from Maya. So I do invite you to find ways that you can take action to continue to protect and support and uplift our refugee communities. Ensuring that refugees have opportunities to work and to thrive, that they're recognized not only because of the hardships they've endured or because of what they contribute, but because we all have a right to live in a safe and welcoming place, is important to us and to our city. And for generations, we know that refugees have been an important part of Chicago. They've opened businesses, they've cared for our loved ones, they've taught our children, they've helped to enrich our culture, our city, and brought new ideas and traditions that make Chicago the global city that it is. I want to reassure you that our administration continues its commitment to be a welcoming city, to find ways that we can support our refugee community. And it's not easy because we are also fighting budget cuts and federal authoritarian decisions, but we are committed to making sure that Chicago is a welcoming city for all. And our Office of Immigrant, Migrant, and Refugee Rights, we go by IMER, the IMER office, we are here for you. Our door is always open, and we welcome your ideas, your concerns, your thought leadership, and your partnership. So now, on behalf of Mayor Johnson, I have the privilege and the honor to present a proclamation for today. So whereas throughout the course of history and even into modern times, there have arisen conflicts between nations or peoples that have inhibited and assailed the freedom and safety of countless people around the world. And whereas from Ukraine and Sudan to Gaza to the Democratic Republic of Congo, Haiti, Myanmar, Iran, and other regions experiencing war, instability, and humanitarian crises, countless individuals and families continue to make the difficult decision to leave their native countries in pursuit of protection and hope for a better future. And whereas currently there are 25 million refugees and more than 68 million people across the globe who've been forcibly displaced as a result of persecution, of conflict, of violence, and of human rights violations. And whereas since 1980, the U.S. Refugee Act has represented the United States government's commitment to protecting refugees through resettlement and asylum programs, and the state of Illinois is home to more than 129,000 refugees from 86 countries. And whereas diverse refugee communities have lasting positive impacts on Chicago's cultural, spiritual, and economic vitality by spurring change and transformation in many of our city's historic neighborhoods. And whereas dedicated and compassionate staff and volunteers from refugee resettlement agencies and mutual aid organizations have assisted refugees and asylum seekers in rebuilding new lives in Chicago for more than 40 years. And whereas the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees has recognized June 20th as World Refugee Day since 2001, and communities throughout Chicago and around the world will commemorate the occasion through celebrations, acts of solidarity, educational activities, and opportunities to uplift stories and contributions of refugees. And now, therefore, I, Mayor Brandon Johnson, Mayor of the City of Chicago, do hereby proclaim June 20th, 2026 to be World Refugee Day in Chicago. Thank you.